Hi, I'm Matt Doggett and I farm 380 hectares here in North Hertfordshire. My grandfather bought the farm in 1936 and we have a lot of hedges to look after. Since the Second World War, we've lost half our hedgerows. This is needing to increase our food supply. And in fact, there are even grants to remove hedges back in the 50s and 60s. Now, we're really getting into our hedge management and planting lots and lots of new hedgerows. In fact, DEFRA are wanting us to plant 30,000 miles more hedgerow by 2037, which is an enormous amount of hedgerows. So we need to look after them properly. I'm going out and about to meet fellow farmers and hedge experts to see the challenges they face and how they make it pay on farm. So Rebecca, remind us of the benefits of a good hedge.
So don't you know, Matt, already? I think the thing about it is it's how you manage it. Incremental cutting provides so much benefit in terms of fruit and berries, brilliant wildlife habitat for so many different farmland species.
Linking up wildlife habitats across the farm?
Yep, corridors, brilliant. Things can move all around the farm using those. Managed hedges, buffer strips next to hedges, provide that additional habitat. They're just fantastic. They prevent soil erosion, prevent the wind whipping across the farm. There's so many different things that they do, and they're the single biggest habitat across the whole of the farm landscape.
So Rebecca, what drives you crackers when you see a badly managed hedge?
My pet hates cutting at the wrong time of year, roadside cutting in May when it could have been done in February, just cutting really hard, going right back into the knuckle of that hedge every time, every year, treating it like a garden hedge, just for neatness.
Over-management.
Over-management, and it's just a perception, and there is this perception that if it's really tight and neat, that hedges are better for birds, and there's just nothing to back that up apart from a perception. So Matt, what about you? What are your pet hates when it comes to hedgerow management?
Oh, well, I've got a couple of them. So one is the lollipop hedge, as I describe it, where you've grown this nice little hedge out of a gourd and then you trim it above and you have no base in the bottom of your hedge, so you end up with a big hole at the bottom of your hedge.
Yeah.
Wind whips through, and I always think that just needs more management early in its life.
I absolutely agree, Matt. The hedgerow bottom is such a valuable place for wildlife. We just need to make more of it.
So why are so many of us still getting it wrong?
It's a case, I think, of old habits die hard. We've been trimming hedges neat and tidily for so long, and it's just habitual, but there's just no excuse for it anymore. We've just got to let those hedges grow and breathe. Economically, it doesn't make any sense. It's great government grants now to take the foot off the pedal and let those hedges grow out.
Very good. So I'm going to meet a farmer who's transformed his hedges and is making them pay for his farm business. So Andrew, here we are on Thurlow Estate, and how many kilometres of hedges do you have?
400.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it's quite a lot, so we do have to be organised.
Wow. So what's the plan? How do you do it?
Cutting every other year under countryside stewardship at the moment.
Very good. And how do the guys on the farm organise such a thing?
And we do block cut different blocks each year so that we can actually manage what we're doing.
Okay.
If we were jumping around all over the place, we just wouldn't get it done.
And what else have you been up to then?
Yeah, we've planted 35 kilometres of hedge in the last 10 years. And we've coppiced 9.5 kilometres in the last 6 years.
Fantastic. And so we're actually walking alongside some coppice here.
Yes.
And how long ago was this done?
5 years ago.
It's a pretty impressive hedge.
A lot more
all
grows than the stumps that we leave.
So Andrew, how do you deal with this?
Oh, this is a hedge for a tree shear mat.
Right. So how does that stack up?
It's good. There's grants available. We can take it down with a tree shear and then we can tie the stumps up with a chainsaw.
And is it quick?
Yeah, very quick, very easy. Not a problem at all.
So Andrew, this looks pretty drastic.
Yeah, this is something we've coppiced in the last couple of months, Matt.
Okay. And you've used the tree shear again?
Yeah, use the tree shear to take the bulk of the material out, and then we come and tidy up some of the tree stumps like we've got here with a chainsaw.
And it's going to regenerate this hedge beautifully.
Yeah, within 3, 4, 5 years that'll have sprouted out to the ground and we'll have some value back.
Fantastic. So managing these 400 kilometres of hedges must be quite a cost.
Yeah, about 40 grand a year, Matt.
40 grand a year, and that's for 2-year trimming?
Absolutely, so every other year.
Okay, and then you're getting into some 3-year trimming, are you?
Yeah, we're going to move to 3-year trimming under sustainable farming incentive, because at the moment none of our hedges, or very few of them, are actually in countryside stewardship.
Okay, and how will that stack up financially?
We basically think that at the moment our estimate is that the SFI will pay the hedge cutting bill for every year, so it'll be net zero cost.
Oh, well, that's great news.
Yeah,
and
no,
from
it's
the
good
hedges
news.
point of view,
Yeah.
it grows bigger,
For longer.
more flowers,
Yeah.
more fruit,
Yeah,
much better for the hedge, and it's better for your bank balance, so it's a win-win.
it is.
So we're here with Tim Radford, Supreme National Hedge Laying Champion, standing by a fantastic bit of work he's done laying this hedge. How feasible is this on farm?
I think nowadays very feasible. I think everyone should have a go at it really. If you've got any, I guess it's knowing what to do, and if you can, the technology now to look up and Google or the National Hedge Laying Society or whatever and find out how to do it, get out and have a go, because it's only going to benefit you, your farm, wildlife, and with the grants now, with the government grant being what it is, back in the day it was a bit hard to get the funding right to get a hedge layer in to do it.
Yep.
And we work with a lot of local farmers that they'll do, if they've got 2,000 metres of hedge, they'll do half, and then they'll get us in to do the other half because they haven't got the time to do it all.
Yep.
But with the grant now, it's that good that it will pay us entirely, so the farm doesn't have to subsidise it. So in that respect, it's very feasible.
So Tim, talk us through what you're doing here with laying this hedge.
So this limb here, I want to lay it into an existing hedge here. Obviously I've taken a limb out of a middle of a hedge to demonstrate for you. I'm going to use the natural springiness of the limb, and I'm going to stretch it like a bow, and I'm going to give it a whack. This is a nice, it should just go, you see that? That's driven that right down, and then I can use my billet to sort of lever it, wiggle it side to side just to force that right down into the ground. And if it still wants to come up too much, you just give it a few taps, and there you go, that's weakened it enough. That will sit in the line of the hedge. Next one on top of it, and we simply cut that bit off, and you've got a nice laid hedge. It is a lovely hedge, yeah, you're right. That's what we're trying to do, isn't it? I just wish we could find a way of getting rid of brambles, because they bugger the job up, don't they?
So we're here with Ian and Tom. So Tom, why did you decide to lay this hedge?
So this hedge was planted in sort of mid-80s by my father and grandfather, and it had just grown up over the years, just been trimmed with a normal flail cutter, and it just had no base to it. And we've been talking about wanting to lay it for ages and just either haven't had time or whatever. So then had the opportunity for a standalone capital grant under countryside stewardship, which kind of funded having it laid. So we thought it was a good opportunity to do it and to try and actually just get it into a decent, manageable hedge.
And so Ian, you're from Hedge Life, and you laid the hedge.
That's right, yes. We came and laid this hedge back before Christmas. Tom asked us to come and do that as part of a wider scheme we were doing for him. And it's from our point of view, it's a nice hedge to lay. It was relatively young hedge, hadn't been laid before, so those are the ones we get the biggest, quickest impact on from a wildlife perspective, because it was what we call a sort of lollipop hedge, where you had up to sort of somewhere between the knee and the waist with very little growth down to the ground, which from the wildlife point of view is where they want a nice bit of thick cover. So immediately by laying it, we're bringing that layer and all the new growth that comes out this spring will be starting right from the ground up.
Fantastic. And how long does a hedge like that take to do?
I think we did about 300 metres here, so we're here best part of a week with the team doing that, and then we've done the traditional staking and binding with chestnut stakes and willow binders on the top.
Very good. Well, it looks fantastic, Tom.
No, we're pleased with it.
So we've covered some of the environmental benefits, the benefits to wildlife of managing a hedge like this, but what are the benefits to you as the farmer, Tom?
Yeah, no, so yeah, obviously managing it for the best environmental gain that we can get, but also the fact that before we'd laid this, we were having to flail it, which was actually a cost to the business. Through the introduction of the grants, we've managed to have this laid, have a really nice hedge, and it's now going to save us money as well, because we're not going to have to do any management to this now for a good few years. So it's a win-win for us, really.
Brilliant, yeah. You'd be a fool not to.
Yeah, no, it's very good.
So Rebecca, I've been out and visited a range of farms and estates and seen a range of hedges and hedge management techniques. And I'm wondering about a plan for my farm. I just don't know where to start.
Well, first place is get your local FIG advisor out. But in terms of the opportunities through grant schemes, there are lots. You've got hedgerow assessment under the Sustainable Farming Incentive. So that means you can go out and create a plan for your hedgerows. You don't have to be in a whole farm plan to look at standalone capital grants. You can just get on with your hedgerow planting, gapping up, laying, and then there's management payments through stewardship and SFI. So there's lots of opportunity.
Fantastic. When my grandfather bought this farm, many people were tearing out their hedges. I'm so glad he didn't. If we can create the right management cycle, our hedges can flourish and be a real asset for farming, for wildlife, and for future generations.